Okay, so I am studying for the LSAT and I am on analytical reasoning. I just briefly did some studying this morning and I am using Khan Academy to study. But I want to try to set up my first game. This is ordering setups. And this is the practice question that I'm going to do. And I just had the bright idea to record it. So I literally just watched a video and a lesson, which I'll show you on Khan Academy, showing me how to set up, but I've never set up or actually tried a game on my own. And excuse the lawnmower in the background because I'm getting my grad service. But anyways, so I decided I'm gonna try this and I'm gonna work it out real time. And I feel like talking this out may help me, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to read the question and then also diagram it as I'm reading it. Okay, so it says a museum. I'm just gonna write ordering setups here, so I know what I'm doing. What I'm gonna do: practice. Then I'm gonna do ordering setups. Okay. So it says a museum curator is arranging 7 photographs. I know it has a glare, sorry. 7 photographs: fence, gardenias, hibiscus, irises, I don't know how to say this one, katydid, lotus, and magnolia on a gallery wall in accordance with the photographer's requirements. The photographs are to be hung along the wall in a row in 7 positions, sequentially numbered from 1st to 7th. The photographer's requirements are as follows. So first I'm going to write down our players, which was fence, gardenias, and all those. But I'm just going to abbreviate them with letters. And this is going to work because they're all different letters. If they were the same letters, then I'd have to figure something else out. But they're different letters, so this will work. So I'm gonna write down my players. So F, G, H, I, K, L, and M. And then it says they're numbered from 1st to 7th. So I'm gonna put that here as well. Skip down a little bit. And then, oh my God, my hand is ashy. We need to completely pause this video because we're not gonna be doing it with the ashy fingers. let's no. Let's moisturize. So I'm like excited or something because it's my first game working it. And I never knew how to set these up or anything, so I'm a little excited. But anyways, so we got our players here. And then they were numbered from 1st to 7th. So I'm gonna skip down a few lines so I have some space. And then I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I may not be right. I may be doing this completely wrong, but we're gonna do it together. So bear with me. Okay. So next we have our rules. And they say that the gardenias must be immediately before Katie. So we're just going to short term that Katie because I don't really know how to pronounce that. And the pronunciation is not really important. All that matters is that I get the answer right. So they must be immediately before Katie. So we're going to write G and K together. And then we're going to put them in a box so that I know this cannot be altered or changed in any way. They have to appear just like that with G and K. Then it says hibiscus must be somewhere before Katie, but cannot be the first photograph. So those are 2 rules in one. And so I have to break that down. I don't know if that's proper or not, but me thinking is that I'm going to have to break this down because I don't want to get confused, especially since this is my first time working this. So yeah. So H must be somewhere before Katie. So we're going to do this. H, and we're just going to do a few dots and then K. So this shows that H comes before K, but it doesn't have to be directly before K like G is before K over here, if that makes sense. And then it says H has to be somewhere before K, but cannot be the first photograph. So we know that H cannot be first. So I'm gonna go underneath the 1 here, write H and mark it out, so I know that H can't go there at all. Then it says that the irises and lotus must be next to one another. So now I don't know how to diagram these. These diagrams are seen in the video. The iris and lotus must be next to one another. I don't know how to diagram that. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that you just write I and L next to each other, and not putting the box around it lets me know that they can be flipped. Or since I don't know how to do it, I would either write I and L and put a box, and then L and I and put a box, so that I know that it can be either way. But I know for myself that since I didn't put a box around it like I did these two, that they have to be together, but they can be in either order, which is what it says here. Iris and lotus must be next to one another, but it doesn't have to be immediately before, but next to one another. So it can be I and L or L and I. That's how I'm interpreting it. Again, I could be completely wrong. And then it says Magnolia must be one of the first 3 photographs. So what I'm gonna do is write M up here, and then I'm gonna take an arrow pointing to 1 and an arrow pointing to 3. So M can be 1 or 3, or must be one of the first 3. Oh, so what I could have did was put M down here 3 times. I think that's what I should have done. But since I already have it up there, I'm just going to make another arrow coming down. Because the arrows, I think, is if it's 1 or 3. But I kind of messed up there. So I just did an arrow. But what I should have done was put M down here 1, 2, 3 times, so that I know that I could use M in either 1, 2, or 3. And then it says fence must be either 5th or 7th. So I can do it. So this actually was what fence should have been, 5th or 7th. And then M should have been down here 3 times. So I kind of messed that one up, but that's okay. It's okay. So now this is my setup. This is my setup. And then that's like my stimulus or whatever. Okay, moving on over here. The questions. Just so that we can better understand and see all this, I'm gonna put the questions down here. Well, I'm gonna put the answer choices on paper down here so we can like follow along better. But the question says, which one of the following could be the positions from 1st to 7th, in which the photos are hung? And I'm just going to abbreviate these with the letters again. So I'm going to use a different color so I can like recognize what I'm marking out. So A says F, H, G, M, K, I, and L. B is H, M, G, K, I, L, F. And again, I apologize for the loud lawnmower, but you know, that's how it always is when you decide you want to study or do something. So this I, L, M, H, G, K, and F. D, L, M, I, H, G, K, F, and then E. Last choice, bear with me. M, F, H, G, K, L, and I. Okay, so we want to know which of these is the order, like which order is acceptable based on the rules that we have here. So now I'm going to use a different color pen. I'm going to use this blue one to start making deductions. So that's what that's called when we start eliminating stuff. It's called deductions. So we're finna start deducting things. Okay, so looking at the first one, now the easiest thing to do from what the Khan Academy teacher said is to go by each rule and eliminate each choice going by rule instead of working through each choice, which is something that I typically do. Hopefully that makes sense. So instead of going through this whole thing and applying all the rules and then going through this whole thing and applying, like, pick one rule and go through this one, and that way you can eliminate choices faster. Hopefully that makes sense. So now, so looking at this one here, let's just go by the first rule, which is that G must be immediately before K. So we can see right here that this doesn't follow that rule, G, and I'm just gonna mark out like to the side of it why I'm eliminating it, because G is not immediately before K. That was the rule. So I can cross A out for that. B does have G right before K. Same here, same in the other ones. So the other answers did follow that rule, but A did not, so we could eliminate that one. And we also applied that same rule to all the other ones. The next rule is that H must be somewhere before K, but cannot be first. So again, we're gonna break that down. So H must be somewhere before K. So if H is after K, then we know that that one's wrong. So let's look at this one. It's H before K, yep. It's H before K, yep. So they all go by that rule. And this one's not even worth looking at because we've eliminated it already. Then we know that H cannot be first. Remember, looking at this rule here, H cannot be first. So B is eliminated for that because H cannot be first. So how I'm gonna notate that here is I'm just gonna do an equal sign. So H does not equal 1. So H cannot be first. That makes sense to me. You have to write your own shorthand notes to where it makes sense to you. You know, so I understand that. And look at the other choices. H isn't first on any of the other ones. Good. So now we're gonna go to our next rule, is that irises and lotus must be next to one another. And again, we did not put the box around it because it can be I and L or L and I. Either way is fine. They just have to be next to each other. So we're going to skip down to this one because those two have already been eliminated. I and L are close together. They are not close together on this one, so we can eliminate D because L and I are not close together. And I'm just going to write that rule out to the side here. And they are close to each other there, so that one's fine. So we've eliminated 3 choices already by just going through each rule. Like, you know, we've eliminated it pretty quickly. And also, I feel like this is a pretty easy answer, like a pretty easy question. So I hate that, but yeah. Okay, so and then E. Okay, so we did the I and L rule. Now we're gonna do F must be either 5th or 7th. I skipped M. So M must be one of the first 3 photographs. So M has to be one of the first 3. If it's not one of the first 3, then we can eliminate that. So we only have C and E left. It's number 3 here and number 1 there. So that sticks. And then lastly, if F must be either 1st or 7th. And in this one, F is 2nd. So we can eliminate E because F equals 1st or 7th. Okay, see how we got rid of that? So now we're only left with C, and this one goes by the rules because the F is 7th there. So this would apply to all the rules up there if we, you know, wanted to rework it, but we didn't have to. So this was my first time doing it. Oh my God, you guys, I feel so smart. Okay, so let's check it and see if this is right. I'm so excited because I have never actually worked an analytical reasoning question, specifically ordering setups, and got the answer right. So I'm like excited that I was able to diagram that. Like I never knew how to diagram or anything like that. So I'm pretty stoked, but looks like our answer is C. So I'm gonna pick C. Cross fingers that is good, and I'm feeling pretty confident about it. Yay! So we got it right. Okay. For you all that need extra help, you can take a look at this little screenshot here. So that was fun. I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, so I'm gonna do another.